this is your boy Dante with Dante's Boxer Nation. And let me tell you something right now. If you guys are looking for the best fragrance products in the world, you need to go to ashkicking.com. That is ashkicking.com. Keep your home smelling fresh and clean with Ash Kicking fragrance products. Treat your skin and hair with Ash Kicking all-natural health and beauty products. Everything you need to create a comfortable home living environment and create a comfortable space for entertaining. The best incense burners in the world, home fragrance products, and health and beauty products, go to ashkicking.com.
Brothers and sisters, brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out. This is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dante, baby. Dante!
What's going on, y'all? Dante's Boxing Nation radio show live, boy. It's going down, man. It's going down. It's going down. We got a whole lot to talk about. As I was telling you guys, hopefully, one of the cats, I tried to get on the string calls in one of my last videos where I had a whole bunch of decafs that was filling up the comment section. I said, I want you guys to call in. So I got 2 people who said they will call in. So hopefully they call in and we can have a discussion. But let me go ahead and introduce, hold on. Let me go ahead and introduce the panelists as we always do at this time. Hold on for a second. Yeah, let me go and introduce my man. This man right here, he has a son. He's a former fighter, and he has a son that's an undefeated middleweight prospect, knocking out cats. His name is Money Powell IV, but my man, that's one of my regular panelists, is Money Powell III. What's going on, Money? Oh, hold on, Money. Hold on, let me run it back. Hold on, let me run it back. Let me make sure you guys are, hold on 1 second. Okay, run it back again. Run it back. What's going on, Money?
Hey, it's all good, man. How's everything for you?
All good. There we go. We got him now. Yeah, Money, we had another good weekend of boxing, man.
Yeah.
And you know what, man? Once again, let me shout out DAZN. If you guys, once again, want to watch Canelo versus Rocky Fielding for free, make sure you click on that link I have in the description box. I believe it's up in there. You click on that link, you can watch that fight for free. You get a free month of DAZN, the trial and everything, and you get all their fights. You get to replay them the whole month. So go ahead and click on that link. It's a great way to support your boy DBN. And also, y'all hit that like button. Let's go ahead and get right into the proceedings. So yeah, man. So Money. So we had some good fights this weekend. We got a new threat in the welterweight division. The new batch of welterweights are starting to emerge right now. You got Jaron Ennis, who looks sensational, knocking out Serrano. You got Maurice Hooker, who knocked out Alcedo in a really, really good fight. And you got and congratulations to Clarissa Shields. She continues to do her thing. Hey, Money, I want to start with Maurice Hooker, man. Dominant performance, man. He got knocked down, came back, knocked the dude out. Give me your thoughts on that performance, man.
You know, I take my hat off to him because I said that when I spoke to Roughhouse Boxing, that was the day of the fight. You know, we were thinking about Saucedo, you know, and I mean, about how he's going to actually come in there and do his thing. I said, this is a fight that Maurice cannot afford to slip on. He cannot slip it off.
Yeah.
He went down, very impressive way to get back up. As a matter of fact, even though he had gotten knocked down, he got back up and he was fighting well.
He was fighting very well,
he just picked up the steam. Oh, yeah, and he picked up the steam, and he didn't slow down. And you started to see that a man just ran out of steam. Hooker, Maurice just checked him out on it and said, okay, now I'm going to turn it up a little bit more and see what you have. And and he faded to black.
And he faded to black. It was a great performance, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great performance. And then you got And then you got Jaron Ennis, you know, who is looking really, really good, man. You know, Jaron Ennis, you know, power, athleticism, making it look real easy. He's going for the knockout. You know, that's another fighter that's going to be a problem. You know, he knocked out Serrano in the second round. And, you know, it'll be really interesting to see if he keeps that same energy once he transitions and steps up in competition, Money. That's yes.
Oh yeah. I knew that Serrano was a very experienced guy, but looking at styles, and the first time I ever came across Jaron, you know, we call him Boots. Now, the first time I ever came across him, that was January 2015. He had this beautiful check right hook that literally came out of nowhere, and it blinded many of his opponents in the first round. And a lot of them just simply couldn't survive. I said, when this guy turns pro, he's going to roughly do the same thing. He's just doing the same thing, just a little bit better. You know, smaller gloves, no headgear, and he's getting them out of there. I had said I believed that he was going to knock him out in the first round. Okay. I did not expect for Serrano to make it out of there, but he did.
Yeah.
And just barely into the second round and faded out just like I thought that he would. It's just that, that Boots is just that good.
Yeah.
He's just that good.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
He is going to be mentioned, and just like you said in your video earlier, this guy is going to be mentioned up in the top 10 very soon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, literally very soon.
Oh, yeah. And it'll be funny to see if he gets a shot, at maybe a Sean Porter or Keith Thurman before Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford get a shot at him. You know, speaking of that, and we're gonna get to I think my guy called in. So once again, guys, on one of my previous videos, I think it was one of my previous videos, you know, I told anyone, I said, if you disagree with anything I have to say, whatever the case, and you watch my videos, I want you to call into the show, right? So this person in particular, he said he will call into the show. He said, matter of fact, he said, get a real one on there. He said, get a real one like myself on there. So we gonna see. We gonna see. So we gonna take that call in a minute. But before we take that call, I want to talk about this Keith Thurman situation. Now, since this live show is titled after Keith Thurman, his reputation takes a major hit. And Money, the reason why I said that is because clearly it's one thing when the fans are putting pressure on you and the fans are saying that Thurman is scared and Thurman is ducking, et cetera, et cetera. But once you start having professional boxers that are casually calling you afraid and scared and using you, like, once again, like throwing it out there casually, like when Terrence Crawford confronted Errol Spence, he said, oh, I ain't scared. I ain't no Keith Thurman. I ain't gonna be scared. You know, I mean, when you hear fighters starting to say that, I mean, the perception becomes unanimous. You know how he's being perceived right now, and I just, because I agree. And the thing, Money, that's tripping me out is Keith Thurman. When I remember after the PBC press conference, Keith Thurman, he said, "I'm gonna get my WBC belt back." Right? He said, "I'm gonna get my WBC belt back," and then he said, "And then, you know, we gonna do some other stuff." You know what I'm saying? He didn't say, and then I'm going to go after that IBF belt, and then I'm going to go after that WBO
Very
belt.
Bland.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't say,
bland.
He didn't say, and keep in mind, Keith Thurman, he was telling people before he went on his second hiatus, he was telling people that he wanted to be a unified champion. So why is he only saying he only wants a WBC belt, but he ain't saying he wants Errol Spence's belt, the IBF belt? He's not saying he wants Terrence Crawford's belt, the WBO belt. He said, I just want the WBC. In fact, Money, and I'm going to let you jump in real quick because, Money, he said he did an interview. He did an interview where he talked about Terrence Crawford, and he was basically saying Terrence Crawford ain't did nothing. He ain't fought nobody, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know, the implication was he didn't believe that Terrence Crawford deserved to fight him, even though Terrence Crawford is the WBO champion. Your thoughts on him saying Terrence Crawford hasn't done anything at the welterweight division?
All I can say is this much: action speaks louder than words. Terrence Crawford stepped up to 147 and is dominating his opponents. He's not just razor thinning; he's dominating his opponents.
Yeah.
When is the last time we ever seen Keith Thurman dominate guys at this level? Where he is right now. When he stepped up in competition the same way, I'm just taking like what you're saying.
Of course.
When is the last time we've seen him really dominate?
Of course.
It makes all the sense in the world when you test it like that.
It makes all
the sense in the world.
Yeah. And
he does not want Terrence Crawford in the ring with him.
And that's the case.
Because he knows his chances of losing is extremely high.
And to add on top of that, it looks bad once again when you use the intro that I always use. Don't duck me, son. Don't duck me, son. A lot of people don't even know who he was talking about. Yeah, a lot of people don't know who Keith Thurman was talking about when he said that. But he was talking about Paulie Malignaggi when he said that, because Paulie Malignaggi had just became a champion at the welterweight division. He had just got a belt at the welterweight division. So my thing is, this is the reason why, once again, people have to realize, man, a camera and a microphone can be your worst nightmare. It could be your biggest ally, or it could be your biggest enemy, right? And and so the point that I'm making is, if Paulie Malignaggi didn't deserve to get in the ring with you, you know what I'm saying? Or put it this way, if you believe Terrence Crawford doesn't deserve to get in the ring with you, how could Paulie Malignaggi deserve to get in the ring with you? You see what I'm saying? The reason why he wanted Paulie was the reason why he wanted Paulie was not because of Paulie's accomplishments, or partially it is because of his accomplishments. The one accomplishment, and that was him having the strap. That's why Thurman wanted to fight Paulie, because Paulie had a strap. So now Errol Spence has a strap. Terrence Crawford has a strap. And the only strap that Keith Thurman is telling the public he wants to go after is the WBC strap, which is what Sean Porter has now. And we don't even know if Sean is going to have that after he gets in there with Ugas, because that's not the easiest fight, It may be.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it may be an easier fight than Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, but that's still a tough fight for Sean Porter. So, that's pretty much what that is, man. But anyway, with no further ado, man, once again, guys, the number is on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and take this call. Like I said, guys, this person in particular, I invited people to call in, instead of filling up the comment section and not calling in, call into the show. Tell me what I said that you disagree with. Tell me what I said that logically doesn't make sense. And this guy, there was actually two guys. I don't know if the other guy, matter of fact, here, let me look up real quick and see what the guy's number is, because I gave this person my email, and right before the show, I emailed both these gentlemen, and I told them the show is about to start, so go ahead and call in. Here, let me see real quick. I want to see this guy, Jose Villegas. Jose Villegas, he's supposed to call in. And let me see, where's his number? Hold on. Just give me one quick second, y'all, because I'm trying to get these dudes on the horn, man. Trying to get these cats on the horn. Let me see. Did he send his number? I told him to send me his number. Okay, he said, what is the format and all that kind of stuff. Because he sent the comment. I said, we're going to talk about exactly what you said in the comment section. He didn't. Okay, let me see. Did he? No, he didn't send me his number. Okay, so Jose might not call in, but hopefully Jose calls in. He didn't send me his number, but the other guy did send me his number, and I'm about to take that call right now. So the other guy, and he's on the horn right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let me see here. I believe at least this is his name in the email. So his name is Vernon Jackson.
Yo, what's happening?
What's going on? 901. Hey, I gotta.
What's up, man? What's up?
I gotta congratulate you for even, or give you props for even calling in, man. But realistically, it don't really. You a brother, so realistically, that don't surprise me, because brothers are never really scared to really call in, But I'm still. But I'm still happy that you called in. So okay, man. Go ahead, man, and tell me what's on your mind, what you want to talk about, what I said you disagree with. Go ahead and shoot it out, man.
Oh, no. That's not why I called in. I called in, right, because, I was riding down the street, and I'm listening to your video about this other guy, right? The guy you was laugh on the chat with, and this dude said something like, well, how come you always praising the black fighters and whatever? And this guy was arguing the fact that Lomachenko had a loss that he had no business trying to even avenge. But he's talking about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence and all these dudes, like, don't deserve the praise that they're getting. Like,
yeah,
I thought that guy was absolutely fucking nuts.
Oh, no, hey, no doubt about it. Well, I mean, we already know what time it is, Vernon. Once again, man, I mean, he's first of all, he starts off in an aggressive manner where he says, look, I'm telling you guys right now, I think he said Usyk is the fighter of the year. And you could tell he wanted us to argue. I didn't even realize that. He wanted us to argue, you know, over that. But none of us argue. We just said, okay, if that's what you think, that's what you think. You know what I'm saying? It's a free country. It's a free world. You can say whatever you want to say. That don't always necessarily mean it's true. But then, yeah, then he started going into saying all this other stuff like, oh, you know, I think you're biased to the black fighter because this and because of that. And then once again, when they try to compare, I say, okay, I give you an opportunity. You want to prove me wrong or whatever, or you want to say that I'm biased, give me a side-by-side comparison of how I treat this black fighter, how I treat this non-black fighter. And the first comparison he made was comparing Canelo to Floyd Mayweather. That is a ridiculous comparison. And
you cannot compare Floyd to Canelo for the simple fact that, first of all, when they fought, Canelo was bigger, stronger, arguably faster. He had all the physical gifts, but he did not have the fucking ring prowess, and he wasn't a magician like Floyd, and that's why his ass lost.
And that's why he lost. And that's,
period.
I mean, and once again, on top of that, I mean, you cannot, if you're going to compare, especially if you're trying to use an example of proving that someone is biased, you have to give an apples and apples comparison. Like I was telling them on the show, if, for example, when it comes to Jim Lampley, I can tell you if somebody said, why is he biased? And I'll say, okay, I'll tell you why. And not only will I tell you, but I'll show you and play you the clips. When a fighter is standing there, and when a fighter like Floyd Mayweather is standing there not getting hit, Jim Lampley, he calls that reluctant. He calls that scared, afraid to get hit. But then when Oscar De La Hoya is actually moving around the ring away from Trinidad and not even throwing punches, he's over here jumping up and down saying, look at the boxing, look at the great boxing. And the fans are booing, but those are just fans booing because Oscar De La Hoya is winning the fight. And he's doing this and he's doing that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's minor. I mean, I like I said, you guys can watch my videos.
Isn't Jim Lampley the guy that Floyd went off on in the ring, and the guy that got into it with fucking
that was Larry Merchant. That was Larry Merchant.
Tony.
Yeah. Larry Merchant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all the motherfuckers the same to me if you really ask me. I'm just being honest with you.
All day.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I'm not gonna get on here and act like I'm just like some knowledgeable boxing historian. I've really been following MMA more closely than boxing, but I have been stepping my game up, and I've mostly been watching the heavyweight division because I want to see Wilder versus Joshua, and we know what's going on with their situation. But I've been catching up with, you know, the lighter weight classes and all this other stuff. This is my observation right here, because first of all, I'm not even that old as you guys probably, but from what I've been watching, and I'm talking about going back to the Ali days and all this kind of crap, these folks, since I can remember, have been looking for that one, not you know, I don't mean to be racist, but I'm just telling you how it is. They've been looking for that one white guy that they can say is the best fighter in the world, and they haven't been able to do it. So that's why every time it's somebody other than a black dude that turns shit up, they just overhype the hell out of him. Look at what they did. They went with that Jerry Cooney dude, right? Mm-hmm. He got fucked up by Foreman. Destroyed.
Yeah.
They went with, and I like Tommy Morrison, but they went with Tommy Morrison. Got destroyed. They went with Julio Cesar Chavez, and we know he fought cab drivers. And didn't he fight Pernell Whitaker, and they ripped Pernell Whitaker off or something like that?
One of the biggest, one of the greatest robberies. One of the greatest robberies of all time. Yeah.
Exactly. Like Pernell clearly outboxed this dude and made him like a fucking amateur, and they ripped him off on the decision. You know, and then if you just go through the history, they've been trying to do this, but they can't because it's so many black fighters that are just at damn near every weight class that's just vastly superior, and they avoid it and they duck and all this other kind of crap. Like, you know, they hated on Floyd and they still hate on Floyd. Every time Floyd fights somebody, they said it with Canelo. They said it with goddamn that dude, man.
And you know, but I get your point. Somebody, there was my man Fernando Valenzuela. He said, I hope Dante calls out this guy's racism right now. Fernando, I want you to call in, man. Why don't you join in and join in the conversation and just go ahead and tell us what he said exactly you disagree with. Let me just say this, because I was going back and forth. I heard the majority of what my man said, but I was going back and forth while you were talking, and I was reading the comment section, so I might have missed a little bit of what you said, but I got the gist of everything you said. Once again, you're talking about the fact that a lot of these fans, and you yourself, you're talking about the racist fans that actually don't like the fact that when they see black fighters winning constantly, and they want someone to come out and beat them. They want somebody to put them in their place and show them. And this is what they did with Gennady Golovkin. Like I told a lot of people, man, I remember when Gennady Golovkin, when he knocked out Willie Monroe, I think it was Willie Monroe. I remember there was a fan who ran by and he was like, yeah. He was like, Golovkin, yes, Golovkin's going to fuck up all those niggas. That's what he said. He said Golovkin, he's going to F up all of those niggas, right? This is what he said, right? So that, once again, that goes to your point that they're looking for a fighter to beat black fighters. And that's why when Golovkin fights a tomato can, or if Golovkin fights someone who isn't an Andre Ward, but they have the same skin complexion as an Andre Ward, like a Willie Monroe, the crowd, I was there covering that fight live. The crowd was roaring. I mean, the electric and the electricity in the atmosphere was unbelievable. You would have thought you was at the Super Bowl or the NBA Finals, but it was really just Golovkin versus Willie Monroe, because so much more was on the line because of the skin complexion that Willie Monroe shared. But with that being said, man, Fernando, here, let me go back to the comment section. Let me see if we could get.
Man, he ain't gonna call.
He says he's at work.
He says he's at work. But hey, but you over here in the comment section at work. So if you in the comment section at work,
you know he ain't gonna call in. He ain't gonna call in. And when they talk about Triple G, when you look at Triple G, dude, they love to say, "Oh, Terrence Crawford haven't fought nobody. Errol Spence hasn't fought nobody." Let's be honest about Lomachenko, and let's be honest about fucking Triple G. Who has Triple G really fought? Yeah. If you really sit down and look at his resume, he has 2 significant fights, which is a controversial decision versus Danny Jacobs. And you could say he won the first fight versus Canelo, because I honestly had him winning. But I could see that it's a draw, and you lost to Canelo, bro. You did not win. You lost. So basically, you got 2 fights, a controversial decision versus Danny Jacobs, and you did not give him a rematch, and you lost to Canelo Alvarez. Period. Yeah. Look at Lomachenko. Who has he fought? You fought Rigondeaux, who moved up 2 weights to fight you.
Yeah.
Then you turn around and look at this last guy that you just fought, and you did not just look crazy, spectacular, super impressive. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? And once again, there's nothing wrong. I don't care if you Mexican and you praising the Mexican fighter, if you black, you praising the black fighter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Once again, the problem is when you start discrediting people who actually deserve the credit. When you start putting, someone who deserves to be number 1 in the back of the line, that's when it becomes extremely biased and racially biased. And this is what a lot of these fans do. When you start lying, when you see a fighter standing right in front of this fighter, like Floyd Mayweather, and you tell people he's running and all he does is run and all he does is he's boring, et cetera, et cetera. When you start making up stuff, that's when it becomes racially biased. So like I said, when you go to a fight, and when we see countries come to America and they waving their flags and they playing music, that's cool stuff, right? That's cool. But you can do everything in a respectful manner. And the problem in this country is they disrespect the fighters that they don't want to be on the top. And that's where the main problem comes in. That's where the main problem comes in.
It's always been like this.
Yeah. So, damn, man. But Vernon,
always been like this.
Vernon, man, You done upset my day, man. You done messed me up, man. You done called in with some education and some good logic. I was hoping you was a decaf, man. I really was, man. But it's all good, dog. It's all good. Because when you set it up real good in the chat section when I invited people, because you was like, hey, I call in. I'm one of the real ones. I'm thinking you on some super duper decaf stuff. So I was over here all happy.
Man, if I really said what I wanted to say, I'd get your show shut down, man. Especially racist, 'cause they are one more thing before I go, because I'm not going to hold you guys up, but you know what my favorite thing they like to do is, because they got to find somebody to attempt to discredit people like Joe Frazier, Mayweather, Ali, and all this crap. They like to bring up Rocky Marciano. But like they do with these black fighters like Errol Spence that are currently fighting and all this other crap, they like to talk about the resume. So let's talk about who the hell did Rocky Marciano really beat. If you ask me, Rocky Marciano is the luckiest boxer in the world. He came in and you could say he dominated when there were no superior dominant fighters. The only superior fighter was old, which was Joe Louis. And he beat him when he was like 1,000 years old. He didn't beat anybody.
We need to get some sound bites up in here, because I would have hit that clip right. I would have hit the
Jersey
clip right
Joe
now.
Jersey Joe gave Rocky Marciano a lot of trouble before he got caught short.
Rocky Marciano is very fortunate that social media wasn't around at the time that he reigned, because he would be looking like Gennady Golovkin right now. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, he doesn't really have those type of signature wins. He doesn't have the Joe Fraziers, the Sonny Listons, the Tommy Hearns, the Sugar Ray Leonards. He doesn't have those type of signature wins or opponents attached to his name. All it is, when you think of Rocky Marciano, you just think of Rocky Marciano 49-0. That's all you think of. No one ever talks about the rivals that he had. And if they do talk about it, they'll talk about the rival, and it wasn't even a rivalry, but just because it was a big name, they'll talk about the win that he got over Joe Louis, who as Eddie Murphy said, was 76. Eddie he said he was 76.
It's funny you just brought up.
He was 72. He was 72 when they fought. So yeah, man. But
I was going to say this, but I fucked around and forgot. One more thing. These people are so racist to the point that they just hate to give black fighters like the acknowledgement that they deserve. I mean, if a person isn't a good fighter, he's not a good fighter. But if somebody's a good fighter, these people went so far as to remember the whole situation with Marvin Hagler when they wouldn't call him Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So to get them to say it, he legally changed his name.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That is some of the craziest shit ever.
He went to court.
They refused to acknowledge this dude.
They didn't want
and guess who stepped up to fight him? Sugar Ray, black fighter.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Thomas Hearns. Why none of them dudes trying to fight them dudes? They went that far as to not. He had to change his name to force them to say it. Like that was just hilarious to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so much to address, man. And once again, so people don't realize this.
Yeah, they ain't fooling nobody with their racism and all of that other bullshit.
I'm gonna let you go, man. I'm gonna get to another call, man. But thanks for calling in, man. Call in another time, man. We'll get it cracking. All right, man.
I got you. I'm finna hit that comment section, man.
All right, man. Go ahead and hit up Fernando. Hit up your boy Fernando, man, because he's still at work, filling up the chat room right now. So yeah. All right, man. Like I said, man, they could talk to us through texting and all that kind of stuff, but they will not call in. They got every excuse in the world why they can't call in, even if it's just for 2 minutes, even if it's just taking a 15-minute break and getting on the phone with us for 5 minutes. But you could text all day, though. We know what time it is, man. We know what time it is. But since my man Jose Villegas didn't call in, because that was the other guy who said that he would call in. Once again, I did a video. I think it was the Floyd Mayweather video. I tell you guys, and shout out to my Mexican fans that show me love, that fight against the racism, because the last 2 times I went to the Box Fan Expo, both times I went to the Box Fan Expo, it was the weekend of a Canelo fight. The first one was Canelo versus Chavez. The second one was Canelo versus Golovkin. And so many, shout out to all the Mexican fans that showed me love. So many Mexican fans came up to me taking pictures and all that kind of stuff. And the crazy thing is, it's crazy how real things get when you see people in person, because you see a complete different character, if you will, in person as opposed to that person in the comment section. Because Mexican fans were coming up to me and they were telling me without me saying anything, they said, Dante, on some real talk, man, the racism you be talking about is true. And some of them were telling me, like, you know, some of my Mexican friends are real racist towards blacks. And I be asking them, why, man? Why? You know, give them props, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he said, so the stuff you be telling me is true. I had young cats tell me this. I had older guys like in their 50s, 60s telling me this kind of stuff. So that right there is why we do that, to make this message resonate. And the message is resonating. So once again, you know, if only we had that type of resonation in the comment section, but you know, it doesn't really matter, because the truth is the truth at the end of the day. And that's why they won't call in. See, that's what I'm really getting at right now, guys. This is why they won't call in, because they know deep down that what I say logically makes sense. They just don't want to hear it because it makes them feel uncomfortable. And now they feel guilty once they continue to push out that narrative. And that's why they don't want me to basically shine the light on them. That's what it really comes down to. But once again, guys, we're going to take some more calls. Like I was saying earlier, talking about Keith Thurman, for everybody just tuning in, we've been talking about everything. Once again, congratulations to Clarissa Shields, Jaron Ennis, and Maurice Hooker. They got some real good wins this weekend. And Big Baby Miller, he got a win as well. Speaking of Big Baby Miller's fight, if you guys missed Big Baby Miller's knockout, if you guys click on my link, my DAZN Dante's Boxing Nation link, you guys will be able to watch that fight, replay all of the fights that you missed, and you'll get to watch Canelo versus Rocky Fielding for free, which it should be for free. Should nobody be paying for that damn fight? You know what I mean? So with that being said, once again, let's go ahead and shout out once again everybody in the comment section. I've been glancing at the comment section. I'm not able to always read it, you know, while I'm doing the show all the time, but every once in a while I look at it to see what you guys are talking about. I appreciate everybody showing the support and love. Hit that like button, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button to show your love. Let me go ahead and take another call. Just me and my man Money on the horn right now rapping. So let's go ahead. Whatever you guys want to talk about, it's on you guys. We got 832. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
Man, you already know this live and direct, man. It's from the fake, man. What's popping up? What's popping?
Hey, Jimmy J Smooth in the building. Long time no hear from, fam. What's good with you? What's good?
Man, you still up there in Thailand, brother, man?
Did I see what?
Are you still up there in Thailand, brother, man?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
all right.
He's still there.
Okay, for sure. But anyway, man, I just wanted to know something, man. Is you coming out here to Dallas, man?
I'm coming
for the Errol Spence fight at AT&T.
I'm there, man.
Yeah, I just booked my hotel a few seconds ago, man, to the AT&T Stadium. Man, we gotta link up in Dallas to see that fight together, man. And we gotta do a live together, man.
All day. We gonna do it, man. I'm gonna try to bring out, if I can, all my equipment, man. I would love to do some live shows, you know, out there at the at the press conferences and stuff like that, you know. So we will try to do something like that, man. If not, I'm gonna be there regardless. But yeah, we're gonna try to do something like that, man, and definitely hang out with the fans and everything, man. So that should be real good. That should be real good, man. So yeah, man, we getting it in. We getting it in.
Most definitely, man. And man, what do you think about Mikey Garcia stepping up to fight my boy Errol Spence, man? And did you see the significant body difference, dude?
Yo, man, that right there, that right there, man. You know, I didn't know. I think it took a lot of people by surprise how much smaller Mikey was. Everybody knew Errol Spence was going to be taller, but why was Errol Spence looking like Lennox Lewis? You know what I'm saying? I mean, he looked like you couldn't tell which one was Errol and which one was Lennox Lewis standing next to Mikey Garcia. I was like, God damn, you know? But see, but
I totally agree.
But at the same time, no, I mean, even though I'm not saying Robert Easter is Errol Spence, but I thought the same thing when I seen Robert Easter standing next to Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia. I thought that there was going to be a way it was going to be tough for Mikey Garcia, but once again, so did Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia, he said 2 days before the fight, this is going to be tough. Look at the guy's height. Look at his reach. We may have to do something different we never done before. They were really concerned. They thought it was really going to be a tough fight. Turned out to be a decisive win for Mikey Garcia. But this is a whole different animal. And the fact that you have somebody not only much bigger than you, but I truly believe that Errol Spence, he can not only match. Well, I mean, we're going to find out. If he can not only match Mikey Garcia's intelligence and IQ, he might be more intelligent, but we'll see. People have to realize, man, Errol Spence, he finds ways to knock out the type of opponents that you usually don't see getting knocked out. A lot of times, if you guys watch the pattern of boxing, usually once guys, they step up in competition, the knockouts start to evaporate. We've seen this with One Time. We've seen this with Gennady Golovkin. We've seen this with Manny Pacquiao. The knockout artists, when they step up in competition, the knockouts usually evaporate because you're stepping up in competition.
Mm-hmm.
People make less mistakes. They don't leave themselves open as much, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you have someone like an Errol Spence who still finds ways to knock these cats out. So that's why I believe a lot of welterweights, and that's another thing, Jimmy J. Smooth, which you was talking about Keith Thurman and then Mikey Garcia fighting against Errol Spence. But what Mikey Garcia is doing is making the welterweights that don't want to get in the ring with Errol look so bad. When you see this tiny little guy who's like, okay, so all y'all sitting on that stage, y'all ain't gonna fight this man? All right, I'll do it. That makes them really look bad. That makes them really, really look bad. You know what I'm saying?
And not only that, he's gonna get a real big payday. I'm thinking Mikey's gonna get at least $10 million when you add up back end pay and pay-per-view revenue to go along with it. I'm just doing a small guesstimate. He probably paid up to $20 million for taking that potential beatdown that Errol Spence about to get his man, because Errol Spence gonna beat the brakes off this boy, man. Because from what I saw in that Robert Easter fight, Robert Easter was hitting Mikey Garcia to the body. Now, it wasn't effective, but if Errol Spence hit him to the body the same way Robert Easter will, he's going to get that body count down and knock this dude out by round 7, round 10 at latest.
And you know what's really interesting about what you just said is a lot of people were saying going into that Robert Easter fight, if Robert just boxes, if he stays disciplined, if he boxes, he'll have a chance of beating him. But the funny thing is, Robert actually did better. Robert Easter, he actually did better when he went on the inside, like you just said, when he went to his body, when he just threw caution to the wind and just tried to turn it into a brawl. When he did that, he actually did better. And Mikey Garcia was the one that did not want that type of fight. Mikey Garcia was pulling out. Mm-hmm. Every time Robert went on the inside, Mikey would get out and he will go back to his strong suit, which is his jab and his right hand. And once again, there's nothing wrong with doing that, but I'm just telling you, when it comes to Errol Spence, you're not going to have that luxury. You're not going to have the option of choosing, geography. You know what I'm saying? Geography is going to be forced on you. It's going to be determined by Errol Spence in that fight. So my whole thing is, when it comes to that situation, that's why I still believe that this is going to be a tough fight for Errol Spence for the first 4 to 6 rounds. And that's the same thing I said in the Terrence Crawford versus Jose Benavidez fight. I predicted that, and that's how that fight played out. But but the waters are going to get so damn deep in that second half. And once again, it's going to be hard for Mikey to keep Errol off of him for 12 whole rounds. Now, the funny, and we might as well ask the question, though, but one thing I do notice when it comes to Mikey Garcia is Mikey Garcia was able to do something to Broner and Robert Easter that nobody did. And that's kind of take away their confidence. You know what I'm saying? Because we've never seen Adrian Broner hesitant, that gun shy. I mean, he's been a little gun shy every once in a while since the Maidana fight, but we never seen him that reluctant to let his hands go. Never has he done that. And Robert Easter looked like a complete different fighter from the Robert Easter against Comey. When you see when Robert Easter was fighting against Comey and all these other fighters, we seen this type of confidence. We seen this type of energy that was nowhere to be found in the Mikey Garcia fight. So I'm just saying, I'm curious to know or see how Mikey is going to respond to getting hit by Errol, but I'm also curious to see how Errol Spence is going to respond to Mikey's power, because I do think that Mikey Garcia's power is overrated. Underrated.
I agree.
I think his power is underrated. He knocked down Marcos Maidana in sparring with bigger gloves. Brandon Rio said he was the hardest puncher he faced. So it's going to be competitive for the first 6 rounds. That's how I see it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the way I see it is the way Robert Easton was being able to jab him to the body and throw that straight right hand to the body. If he, like I said, if he does that against Errol Spence, it's going to be night-and-night Visine for him, man, because you cannot let Errol Spence throw that jab to the body. You know, I saw it in the Lamont Peterson fight. I saw it in that Kell Brook fight, even though, you know, Kell Brook was boxing him pretty good. But when he was throwing those jabs to the body, that pretty much was the beginning of the end for Kell Brook at that point. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, even though he's a southpaw and he throws a straight left hand to the body, man, it's going to be nighty-night for this dude. He cannot afford that. You know, Robert Easter, like you said, he dominated Robert Easter, but it was certain things in that fight that I would say, if he does that against Spence, he allows that against Spence, he's not going to make it.
Once again, the problem for Mikey Garcia is Errol Spence can make way more mistakes than Mikey Garcia can make. You know, that's the problem. Mm-hmm. That's the problem. And Errol Spence, even he doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. You know, something else, I think Mikey Garcia was looking at the Lamont Peterson fight and maybe even the Kell Brook fight and just seeing the fact that Errol can get touched. You know, seeing him get touched and et cetera, and as accurate as a puncher as Mikey is, and he does have a great right hand, he's thinking his right hand versus Errol Spence's left hand, he has a good chance. But you know, the thing with Errol Spence, I don't believe Errol Spence is the type of fighter that gets hit with the same punch over and over again the whole night. You know, I believe he will make adjustments. I believe he will make adjustments. He'll get caught with some good right hands throughout the fight, but it won't be consistent, you know, so that's the difference. But, hey, Jimmy, if you want to hang out with us, man, I'm going to take another call, all right, man?
Okay, man, I'm going to go and get off the line because I got to go to work early, man, but I'll get back on the line with you again, man.
All right, brother. All right, man. Thanks for calling in. Easy, thanks for calling in. Take care, man.
Oh, most definitely.
All right, man.
Okay.
My man Jimmy J. Smooth out there in Texas. He going to be at the fight. Let's go ahead and take another call, man. Let's take another call. And I'll throw my man Reggie on the horn with us right now. What's going on, Reggie?
Oh man, what's up, Reggie? What's up, money pal?
Yeah, it's good.
Reggie, what's that? Hello? What's going on?
Oh, hold on, 504.
Man,
1 second, 504.
Okay, you got me. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, hey Reggie, let me go ahead and get 504 up on here. What's going on, man? What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Josh. I'm calling from New Orleans.
New Orleans? What's good? What's good, man? What's on your mind?
Sir. Not much. Let me just jump in. You guys can jump in any time y'all want to. I'm gonna start off with Maurice Hooker. I stay in Dallas, Texas. I told you where I was from New Orleans. So
you sound a little muffled. You sound a little muffled. What did you say?
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Much better. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. I live in Dallas, Texas, so I met Maurice Hooker and I met Errol Spence. I've been in the gym with them guys a few times. And so props to Maurice Hooker. I'm going to admit, from that first round he started off with, it looked like a little suspect, like how he looked on that Andre Ward card.
Yeah.
When he got that decision. Mm-hmm. I said, damn, this dude ain't make no adjustments. And then he can't fight this dude like this because he a sucker from them short punches, the overhand and everything. The overhand is what put him down. He got up, showed that he was battle tested. He made the decision. I seen what he was doing. He was taking a lot of shots. He let the dude punch himself out. It worked in his favor, and then he came back on top, redeemed himself, and won a big fight. So props goes to him. I will say this: he may need to stay away from Regis' program right now, because how he looked in that first round, if he don't know how to make those adjustments, he will get knocked out by a program.
Yeah.
On to him. Next, Canelo Alvarez. I just left the message on Boxing Eagle thing, because he posted something about Canelo rescheduling a drug test. He got cancer.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 quick second. 1 quick second, y'all. Hold on 1 quick second. I don't know how these phone lines just connected over here. Y'all give me 1 quick second. 1 quick second. Okay. All right. Sorry if a little interruption, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, like I said, y'all could jump in on anytime y'all want to, because I'm just going to run. Canelo, I've been lost respect for him ever since the Arizona Lowry fight. I realized what type of fighter he is. He get them type of decisions. And I heard somebody say something about Floyd and Canelo being a comparison. You can't compare Floyd to Canelo, because Floyd can fight anybody.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about him fighting a certain style. You don't have to worry about if he's going to be able to do this or do that. Canelo is different.
Yeah, you can.
He is different. You got to watch who you put them in with, because they can't just fight anybody, because you worry about them losing to a certain style. So that's why you can't compare guys like that to Floyd Mayweather. You trying to say something, Dante?
Yeah, I already know. I'm already knowing. Like I said, we already had the conversation. And when go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just about to say once again.
Oh, okay.
When you have so many fighters that you can compare Canelo to, once again, why would you compare him to the greatest fighter of this era? Canelo Alvarez, right. As good as Canelo Alvarez is, people have to realize Floyd Mayweather was pound for pound the best fighter in the world. He was rated #1 in the world pound for pound when he was in his 30s, late 30s, when he was close to 40. Now Canelo Alvarez is 28. He's still not considered pound for pound the best fighter in the world. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the comparison is not even apples and oranges. It's apples and rocks. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's crazy that they would make a comparison like that, you know. But anyway.
And let me finish off on Canelo. I'm going back to Canelo when he was fighting at 154, when he made his weight class at 155, and he ducked all the top fighters that went from 154, like Demetrius Andrade, both of the Charlo brothers. And I could name a few other names. I just can't think back that for Arizona Lowry. With the rematch, he never was going to get in the ring with him again. Canelo, his career to me has always been paved by Oscar De La Hoya. You could tell Oscar De La Hoya, my type of promoter, was running his fights, because he's a very scary individual. Mm-hmm. I do give him props for what he did in his career. I'm talking about Oscar De La Hoya, but he was the golden boy, and he painted Canelo the same way. So Canelo could never be. I mean, if you want to call him pound for pound, because what we got going on right now, that's cool. He's not on my pound for pound, because he's a protected fighter. On to Triple G, I don't think he's going. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, well, I would put him in the pound for pound. I just wouldn't put him in the top 5 right now. I would put him in the top, because that was a good win over Gennady Golovkin, but he ain't going to be in the top 5 until he starts fighting cats like Charlo, Andrade, et cetera, because those are his Diego, those are his Diego Corraleses. Those are his, are his Castillos. Those are that's that level. That's that level of competition right there. You know what I'm saying? We want to see him fight against another young undefeated fighter, because every time he got in the ring with another young undefeated fighter, he did struggle. I mean, even the Golovkin fight was really close, even though I truly believe Canelo won the fight, and I gave him credit for making adjustments in that rematch. But we need to see that consistently. Once again, Canelo is 28. Right. He's not 38 like people keep comparing to Floyd. And one more time, guys, if you want to compare Floyd to Canelo, you have to compare the 28-year-old Floyd to the 28-year-old Canelo Alvarez. When Floyd Mayweather was in his 20s, Do you know that Floyd Mayweather was calling out the most dangerous opponents and everybody was avoiding him? Like fighters like Popo Freitas, Joel Casamayor, Shane Mosley, Nassim Hamed. Yep. Floyd was calling all these cats out. Kosh the Zoo. He was calling these cats out. When is the last time we've seen Canelo Alvarez call out a dangerous opponent? When is the last time we heard Jamal Charlo like, oh, you know, I'm not ready to fight Canelo? Because that's what Nassim Hamed was saying about Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? So once again, you cannot make the comparison, and that is my point. And you guys keep trying to compare them, but once again, but when we bring up Floyd Mayweather as a comparison, then you guys turn around and say, hey, man, why you got to bring Floyd Mayweather's name up? But you always want to bring his name up when it comes to defending a fighter who's not doing what they're supposed to do. If that's the case, then once again, you got to compare Canelo Alvarez in every aspect of his career to Floyd. Like I said in my previous video, if you want to make the comparison, then why didn't, and my man just elaborated on, if you want to compare the two, why didn't Canelo Alvarez give Lara a rematch like Floyd Mayweather gave Castillo a rematch? Why isn't Canelo calling out? Yeah. Why didn't Canelo Alvarez call out all these dangerous undefeated fighters like Floyd Mayweather did when Floyd was in his 20s? So stop making the comparison, guys. Yeah. And if you, once again, call in if you disagree. If what I said didn't make sense, if 2 + 2, if it didn't come up to 4, you guys call in and explain why the answer is 5. Okay? You guys do that if you want. But anyway, go ahead, man. Oh, you guys still there? Are you guys still there? Hold on for a second. Did I lose everybody? I see everybody is still on the horn right now. Once again, man, shout out. I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Let me get this. I don't know what's going on with this. My business phone line, for some reason, after 60 minutes, it hangs up now. I don't know why it's doing this. It wasn't doing this before, but I got to figure it out. So anyway, let me, I got to call the business phone line back up and get these cats. Everybody is still on the horn right now. Hold on, let me see here. Once again, man, appreciate everybody tuning in. All right, I just got back on the business line. I just got back on the business line, so you do not want, it's like, all right, guys, I'm back. I don't know if you guys know, but my call dropped, so I don't know if you guys know, but I'm back on the horn now. But anyway, hey guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get to another call, man. Hey Josh, man, good stuff, man. Thanks for calling in. I'm gonna get to another one. All right, man.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, man. All right.
Take it easy.
All right, take care, man.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, I got to figure out what's going on with my business phone line because for whatever reason, after 60 minutes, it's doing that all the time now. After 60 minutes, it disconnects. Okay. So yeah. So
he brought up some pretty good points.
Yeah.
While you were
what did he say? What did he say when I dropped?
Well, he was talking about going off from what you were saying about the comparison between Canelo and Mayweather. It was just an extension of what you had already started off with, and he was going into another one. That's when you came back on the line again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just took a look at the comment section. I mean, yeah, like I said, man. I mean, there's no way, and you guys have an opportunity, as always. You have an opportunity. If there's anything that I'm saying right now that does not make sense, or if you telling your friends that damn Dante don't know what he's talking about, let me have a conversation with him. Let me show his ass what it is, et cetera, et cetera. You have an opportunity to do that. And if any of you got friends that's saying that, you should tell your friend, yeah, man, well, call him up. Call up Dante and tell him why what he's saying logically doesn't add up or make any sense. All right? So that's pretty much what it is, man. That's pretty much what it is.
Hey, Dante.
What's up, man?
Hey, I wanted to bring up this week's, the meeting between Spence and Crawford and how it just shook up everything
Yeah,
within that division.
Yes, it did.
And also the rise of Ennis being a potential shaker and mover within that division, and how it kind of pushed the guys who was trying to pull off the WBC or the triangle dodgeball they've been playing with that belt and not challenging everybody in that division, and how this event over this weekend kind of is, about to push them out the forefront or force them into taking these bigger fights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, like I said, it just goes to show you that if you get the right fighters and they promote themselves like that, it could be a huge fight. And once again, we seen how the whole media, they just completely just engulfed the boxing news with what just took place. Once again, like you just said, with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, everybody was tuned in, and it was some of the most entertaining stuff to see these cats going at each other. It's just so crazy because it's so rare that you see two of the most avoided fighters that are the best fighters in the division going up against each other like that. You know what I mean? And at the same time showing respect to each other, which I like that too. It's like, it was more like domino talk, like basketball talk. You know what I mean? Like, you talking shit, but it's not personal. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. Yeah, so I like that, and it just made the fight even bigger. I mean, like I said, I truly believe that this fight now is going to happen either the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. And once again, man, this is going to make Sean Porter and Keith Thurman look horrible if they don't fight these cats before that. It's going to make them look horrible. Even after the Errol Spence fight. I mean, the Mikey Garcia fight. Even after the Mikey Garcia fight, it's going to make them look horrible. So anyway, man, let's go ahead and get to another call. We're going to wrap it up in a little bit, but let's take another call, man. Try to get to as many calls as I can. Once again, man, I appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Hit that like button, guys. If you like what we're doing, that's a great way to show your love and support. Go ahead and hit that like button. We're going to go to 314. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
What's up with you, bro? This little Marlo from St. Louis.
What's going on, Marlo? What's on your mind, man?
What's good? Yeah, man, I just want to... Hold on one second. Yeah, so y'all know how... hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so y'all know how when that shit happened over the weekend with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, right after that, man, I got on YouTube, all I see is all the blogs talking about some Terrence pulled up on Earl. I disagree with that, man. I think Earl, you know what I'm saying, he came to the ESPN event, top ranked event. He didn't have to come. You know what I'm saying? He came on his own will.
Yeah.
And then, so...
Yeah.
Like how everybody try to twist the story and shit.
Yeah, it needs to be stated that it was Errol Spence that actually came to Terrence Crawford's hood. It wasn't Terrence Crawford that came to Errol Spence's hood. Because we know that Terrence Crawford, he's never. I don't think Terrence Crawford he's ever went to a PBC event or an Errol Spence fight before. So, it's not so much. That's the thing though, man. Fans are so quick, and that's what's unfortunate. Fans are so quick to say somebody is scared or somebody got punked or whatever the case may be.
I think neither one of them was scared of nobody.
Oh yeah, scared of what? Yeah, what would they be afraid of? What would they be afraid of? You know what I mean? Obviously, Errol Spence, like Errol Spence said to Terrence Crawford, I knew like 3 o'clock you was gonna be here. I knew a long time ago you were gonna be here. But it's only common sense he's gonna be there. You're in his city. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, nobody is scared of of either. But one thing I thought that was pretty interesting is something that because I thought Errol Spence, he said, because see, I didn't even know that Ellie Setback at the time that I seen this. I didn't know Ellie Setback, he had a whole like 11-minute conversation with them. I didn't even know he was there. But anyway, but I found out later, and I watched Ellie's his video, and I heard Errol Spence actually say, well, I'm going to go after Sean Porter first. He said, why wouldn't I knock out the easier dude first? You know, he said that to Terrence Crawford.
When he said that, I think people took that the wrong way. I think he meant like, you know what I'm saying, let him knock out, like he been saying, let him finish what he got going on his side.
Yeah. I looked at it.
Right.
I looked at it
we
as
got a couple wild callers, man. Oh, go ahead. I hear you.
No. I'm agreeing. I agree with you. I'm looking at it as him showing. He's definitely showing respect. He's giving Terrence Crawford the props he deserves. But see, I've always said, if you're not going to fight somebody next or whatever the case is, I said it would have looked better for Keith Thurman or Sean Porter to just say, look, man, Errol Spence is going to be the toughest fight. So I'm going to go ahead and get this fight, that fight, and then I'm going to fight him at the end of the year or next year. That would have made Keith Thurman and Sean Porter look better. So, so by way of contrast, if you look at what Errol Spence said, that's kind of similar. He basically said, why wouldn't I get Sean Porter first? That's an easier fight, and then I'll fight you. But see, the difference with Errol Spence is you could tell Errol Spence he is going to fight Terrence Crawford, though. You could tell Errol Spence ain't going to give up his belt. Errol Spence ain't going to, you know, turn down a Terrence Crawford fight and then fight a complete tomato can and then say, well, maybe it'll happen in 2021, et cetera, et cetera. That's not going to happen with Errol Spence. So it's.
I just want people to know. When you hear Earl be saying what he's saying when he gonna fight him soon, man, you gotta believe that dude. He mean it.
Yeah.
He mean everything he said.
Yeah.
He know he gonna fight him. It ain't nothing like. I think people get scared because when they used to hear Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, and people like that make up excuses, they think that's one of the excuses. But no, he's different, dog. That's what I want to let you know.
Yeah.
Different. That's what he mean. When he said he gonna do it, he gonna do it. This ain't no Sean Porter, Keith Thurman shit going on.
Yeah, man. People gotta stop.
I don't think nobody in boxing thinks neither one of them is scared. I think those are people who are just picking sides.
And then Earl fight Mikey.
Yeah.
This AT&T Stadium, man, ain't no excuse after this. He a bona fide star after that.
Something else that annoys me with people making comments is when they start saying stuff. Oh, this was just all hype. This is all fake, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. First of all,
it was real. That's what people need to understand. They ain't got to be cursing each other out. And all that. You know what I'm saying?
It's real, but once again, it's real. But at the same time, my point is, even if it was an act, why would you be hating on that? Why would you be upset that Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford is sitting over here talking about fighting against each other, et cetera, et cetera? My point is, people are just posting stuff just to post stuff. It makes no sense at all. You never, and that's something else. You should never state something as fact just because you're going off of what you just think. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you should have some type of substance to back up what you're saying. Anyway, hey, thanks for your call, man. I'm gonna get to another one. All right, man.
All right, man, I listen to you every day, bro. I wish you can quit not every day whenever you get on. I wish you do your show every day, bro. But I'm going.
Hey, good looking, man. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. Well, we just finally did a Wednesday show this week, man. So we gon' hey, man, if the fans want it, man, we'll be back by popular demand, man. That's for sure. That is for sure. But here,
yes,
let me shout out. Let me shout out some of the cats once again in the super chat section, man. The cats that joined that DBN army, man. I appreciate y'all showing that love, man, all day, man. Hey, good looking out to my man Blue Blood Sports TV. He always showing that love. He a part of the tank, man. He said salute to my brother DBN. Couldn't make it on tonight with the family. I appreciate that, man. And y'all subscribe to Blue Blood, man, if you want some more of that whole truth, man, and good reporting when it comes to interviewing these cats, man. And also got to show love to my panelists, my man MP4, my man Money Pal, show me love in the donation section all day, man. Appreciate you, family. He said DBN
hey, you got it now.
Yes, sir. DBN making it happen all day. My man Ice Mike, he showed 2 donations. I appreciate it, man. He said, good point. He was responding to something we said earlier. And then he said Jersey Joe was also owed as dirt in that fight, referring to the Rocky Marciano conversation we had. That's what it is, man. Once again, man.
You know something, Dante?
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say about Rocky Marciano. I never bring that up when, I never, want to ever go after him. But when people say, oh, he would wipe out Deontay Wilder, I just have to that's when I have to come back.
Oh, man.
I have to bring them into the world of reality. I said, have you ever taken the time to look on BoxRec to see how small this guy was?
Yeah.
Usyk would hand him his behind, man.
Yeah.
A lot of these cruiserweights, he was a very small cruiserweight, probably could have been a light heavyweight.
Yeah.
And even the light heavyweights of today, Beatrivel, a lot of these other guys of today,
Roy
they
Jones.
would eat him up like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them. Roy Jones, so forth and so on. James Toney, they eat him up like Pac-Man.
Yeah, so we
He
don't
is
even know.
good in his time.
Yeah, so
He's good in his time frame.
In the sport.
Yeah, and I just leave it like that. But I'm like, look, you have to, this isn't a video game. This is reality.
And the sport evolves.
What kills me about...
Go ahead,
What's
Reggie.
that?
Also, no, what kills me about the hope for a white champion when it comes to sports, or the disapproval of non-black fans when it comes to, being honest about the praise of black fighters for what they've accomplished. But the same people who knock you for keeping things real as far as the achievement of black fighters, they label you as a racist, but these same fans will go into the other sports and praise black athletes for accomplishing the same thing. Because within that, their attachments aren't necessarily to the race of that person, but they tag it to the franchise of a team. But when it comes to these individualized sports, here they flip in their mind how they want to view and address things.
Well, Reggie.
But these same black fighters can go and represent this country in the Olympics, and they have no issue.
Well,
they praise them. And this is just yes.
No, I'm good stuff, man. I just want to add on what you just said, right? And the reason why these same fans that will discredit black fighters in the sport of boxing, that these non-black fans, the reason why they will turn around and then praise the Lakers or whatever team they like is because of the simple fact that 90% of the NBA is black. So you don't have a team that basically represents Mexico, the Philippines, or whoever you want to represent. You know what I'm saying? Whoever you want to root for, they're all black. So all you can really do is represent the city, represent the actual team. So that's the reason why they don't do that. But it's still because, see, it's funny because when I used to throw fight parties, way before I was covering fights, when I used to throw fight parties, we would have, when my sons were boxing and everything, we would have everyone from the boxing gym come over, and this is when I was new to Vegas, so I didn't really even understand the politics of boxing at this time. And I would get all these cats that would come over to the house, and 90% of them, at least the one gym we were training at the time, 90% of them would be non-black, right? They would come over, and soon as there was a black guy fighting against a non-black guy, all of a sudden they jump up, start rooting against the black dude with all this like animosity. And I'm like, whoa, where'd this come from? I didn't even know this was in these cats over here. I mean, they are like passionate. We would be watching undercard fights. With two no-names. They are up in the air, jumping up and down. I remember one time I went to the bathroom, everybody jumping up and down. I come out, I'm thinking it's damn near the main event. They jumping up and down. Yeah, get him. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? It's two dudes on the undercard. One dude like 3-1, and the other dude is like 5-0 or something like that. And they going crazy, ballistic, rooting against the black fighter. But while they're doing that, it's cats in the house with a Lakers jersey, a OKC jersey, you know what I'm saying? And one dude like, oh man, my team is about to play. We got to hurry up and get out of here. My team is about to play. So it's crazy. The reality of it tells you, but the reality of it tells you that deep down, they really do admire. I'm talking about the racist fans in particular. They really do admire. They admire these black fighters. Like I told people before, the fans that hate Floyd Mayweather, they will turn around and they will say that Mikey Garcia is the Mexican Floyd Mayweather. because this is what they were saying. They were the videos is on Ellie Setback channel, his channel. Ellie used to always interview Mikey Garcia fans, and I remember before when Mikey was with Top Rank, Ellie did a couple videos with the fans, and they were like, yeah, that's right, Mikey Garcia is the Mexican Floyd Mayweather, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what does that tell you, guys? That tells you that if Floyd Mayweather was Mexican, then these fans in particular, the ones that hate Floyd Mayweather, they wouldn't love Floyd Mayweather. They would be bragging so much about Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? So we know what's and something else I want to say once again, for the people who say they don't like to hear about race and all this kind of stuff. If you don't like to hear about race, or you don't like to see a racial divide in the sport of boxing, when you see all these black fighters get mistreated, you hear all your friends call them the N-word, or you hear your friends say, oh, F that damn Mayweather, or oh, those damn blacks, only blacks will root for it. You hear your friends say all of this kind of stuff. Why don't you start telling them, let's not make this about race? They would listen to you even quicker than they would listen to me. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys were to put that kind of pressure on them, do you guys know this race issue would not be as big as it is? But it's because you give them a pass, because once again, you give the criminals that are committing the crimes, you give them the pass. But you want to get pissed off at the police or the people that's calling the police on the criminals. How is that going to stop? How is that going to stop the situation? You know what I mean? So, and for the people who say, hey man, but why even report it? Why even talk about it? Why even talk about it? Listen, man, because they say racism is not going to go anywhere. It's always going to be here. Crime is always going to be here. But does that mean the police is going to stop going out and arresting people? Does that mean that the news is going to stop reporting crime? That don't mean you stop doing your job just because it's always going to be here. How is that going to solve anything? Ain't nobody ever changed nothing by saying, just let it play out. Ain't nobody ever changed nothing by doing that. So anyway, man, with that being said, let's go ahead and take another call. We're going to take another call. Once again, I appreciate everybody tuning in. Once again, man, hit that like button, man, if you want to support what we're doing. And let me go ahead and introduce another member that's riding inside of that DBN Super Army, that tank, the Super Chat section, showing a donation. I appreciate it, man. My man, Ohio Runs Boxing, man. And shout out to him. He says, salute Dante and Money Pal. Something else I want to say, man, once again, man, I am going to start that. What is it called again, Money? What is it? It's called the Patreon. What is it called? The Patreon? What is it called, Money?
That's correct. The Patreon.
Yeah, because I just really started getting hip to it. I heard people talking about it. But I want to start, I want to have like a third show, maybe a second or a third show on that site. So cats can, so the cats is really supporting what we're doing over here, they really show your loyalty. You tune in on there, and then you can also show your love by, of course, you know how that account and website works. That'll be a way to contribute to what we're doing. Once again, man, this is my full-time job. This is my full-time job. I don't make a whole lot of money doing it, but I'm doing what I love to do. So that's why I appreciate you guys tuning in, you guys hitting that like button, and you guys showing those donations. That's what it is, y'all, all day. Once again, let's get back to the phone lines. For everybody just tuning in, because the title of the video or the live stream is titled Keith Thurman Takes a Hit, a heavy hit. And for, just in case you're wondering what we were talking about. Oh, once again, we got Michael Gonzalez. Michael Gonzalez. He said Dante is racial. This is what I want, man. I want cats like this to call in, man. Michael Gonzalez, will you call in and tell me what I said that you disagree with? Because I bet you anything, if once we have a conversation, you're going to end up saying you agree with the majority of what I say. And does that mean that Michael Gonzalez is racial? So Michael Gonzalez, where does comment go? Hey man, put your comment, put your number in the chat room. Put your area code, my bad. Put your area code in the chat room and we'll get you on, Gonzalez. Was that his name? I'm trying to go back to his name. Let me see, man.
Yeah, he was Gonzalez. I saw him.
It was Gonzalez. Okay. So once again, man, that's always the funniest thing, man. It's always these cats right here. it's always these cats right here. You know what? Let me go all the way back. I want to go all the way back to, and I'm going to take the call in a minute, guys. I know you guys are on hold, but Gonzalez just made me think of something. When I remember when I first started doing YouTube videos, it was around the time that Victor Ortiz, he had lost to Josito Lopez. He quit. He quit against Josito Lopez, right? And understand something. This is before I realized how racist some of these boxing fans were. I'm walking into something blind at this point. I didn't understand the racial double standards at this point. So he quits against Josito Lopez. I do a video about that, and I talk about Victor Ortiz quitting. Now, keep in mind, Josito Lopez, he actually said himself right after the fight, he said in his post-fight interview, he talked about Ortiz quitting, and he said, I would never quit. I would never quit, right? So when I made this video, I played that clip of Lopez saying that. I played the clip of him saying I would never quit, right? And I talked about Ortiz quitting in that fight. Why is it I got the most racist, and I'm talking about by quantity, I got more racist comments in that video than like 100 videos I had did. Everyone, you N-words, you this, how dare you try to say this, and you black bastards, and this. What's so crazy is they were calling me all these N-words and all these Ortiz fans, but meanwhile, Lopez was the one that actually said he was a quitter. I was reporting what he said, and they filled up the comment section with so much racism towards black people, it didn't make no sense. And that video in particular, going back however long that fight was, that's when I realized we had a serious racial divide in the sport of boxing. I mean, I knew it was there, but I didn't know it was that overt. I didn't know it was that blatant, if you will. You know what I mean? So once again, when someone like my man Rodriguez or Gonzalez, when he says, oh, racial, which we don't even know exactly what he means because he ain't gonna call in. He ain't never said that kind of stuff when he seen all those comments in my comment section. When you go to Instagram and once again you see fans calling Floyd Mayweather's kids when they were little, calling them N-words and all that kind of stuff. None of these fans ever say, hey man, can you guys just keep this about boxing? Can you not talk about boxing? Once again, do you guys know that if no one was treating Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather, Al Heyman, do you guys know if no one was treating these guys this way, then no one would be talking about racism? If there was no double standards, no one would be talking about racism. If there was no fire, no one would be talking about a damn fire. You understand? This is all common sense and logic. It's just all logical stuff. So did my man here, did Gonzalez call in? Or did he respond? He ain't even posted a comment since I said that, huh? He got ghosts. He said, oh man. He said, boy, they done shine a light on my ass. Let me run up out this kitchen. That's basically what he said.
He left the boot.
Yeah. He said, oh shit, they see me stealing the food. Let me get up out of here. Yeah, man. That's what it is, man. Shout out to everybody showing that love in the comment section, man. I was looking for, I'm over here looking for him. I'm scrolling through the comments looking for my man Gonzalez. He ain't showing love, but I mean, he ain't calling back or sending a comment, man. But shout out to my man Divert Cruz, He said, Dante, you are the best, my friend. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, Cruz. And once again, man, shout out to the Mexican fans that's riding with me and they helping me fight against this racism. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. So yeah, let's go ahead and take another call, man. Take another call. We having a good time. I'm having a good time. Okay, we got 414. Please turn down your background. I'm hearing background noise already. 414, what's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Man, this is Brandon from Milwaukee, man.
Brandon, what's good with you, man?
I got a couple questions. What's the Clarissa Shield fight this weekend?
Yeah, Clarissa Shield, she fought this weekend.
She
yes,
sure did.
Yes, sir.
Did she win?
She won. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a unanimous decision. She won every single round.
Okay. Well, I got another thing about my boy Earl and this Terrence Crawford fight.
Okay.
Like, I don't get the hate when it comes to Earl, to be honest. Earl been getting a lot of hate from a lot of black YouTubers for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It's been going like back and forth with like him not calling out, Crawford and Crawford not calling it. I can say both of them been getting it, but I'm a fan of both of them. So I just want both of them to fight at the end of the day, and I see it like both of them, like Bo Mac been saying, like Earl, his corner been saying the end of 19, the beginning of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want everybody to soak this up, soak it all up, because it's gonna be probably the best fight in the last 10+ years.
Yeah, it's no reason to be hating, and once again, man, like I said, man, this once again proves that black people are the least racist people in the world. Because like I keep telling you guys, in no other race would you have all these black people that will be shitting on another black fighter that is proven as one of the best in the world. I mean, we're not talking about James Kirkland or someone who's, at the end of their career, or they're overrated or whatever. We're talking about top notch. Let me tell you guys something. This is the reason. This is the reason why, I ride with my man Ego, and I support all the black channels. You know what I'm saying? This fighting against injustices and giving the cats the credit that they deserve. But the one thing about myself, especially Ego, I remember when I first started doing this YouTube stuff, it's weird how once again you get introduced to a lot of stuff and it catches you off guard. Like when I started doing videos talking about Floyd Mayweather, there were all these black people. There were a lot of black channels, and they were like, "Yeah, man, F that damn Mayweather and that punk boy." But it wasn't just Mayweather. It was even Andre Ward. They were repeating the same talking points that the racists were saying about black fighters. They would say the same things. Like there were, and I'm not gonna mention their names, but there were YouTubers just even today, black guys that were saying stuff like, "Yeah, man, Andre Ward, he needs to leave Golovkin alone. You ain't no star like Andre Ward. You ain't no star like Golovkin. You need to you need to leave him alone." And I'm like, what the hell? Because I was new to this. Man, you had some black YouTubers or even black fans when I first started, they hated us so much because we were giving Floyd Mayweather credit. Me and Boxing Ego, they hated us so much because we were giving Floyd Mayweather the credit that he deserved. You see how brainwashed a lot of these. You see how brainwashed, and these cats were saying he's scared of Manny Pacquiao. He ain't gonna fight Manny Pacquiao. These were some black people that were saying this kind of stuff. He's scared of Manny Pacquiao. He ain't gonna fight him and all this kind of stuff like that. And it just took me by surprise because I expected, once again, if you have the Michael Jordan in the sport, I'm expecting all black people to be proud of that. Because once again, Golovkin is not even on Floyd Mayweather's level, and those fans are loyal. They will go down in that sinking ship when it comes to Gennady Golovkin, and he don't even have to be as good as Floyd Mayweather, and their loyalty is so strong for Gennady Golovkin. But when it comes to black people, when it comes to black people, they ready to go to war. You know what I'm saying? Just because you like them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine some Mexican fans saying, "Yeah, man, imagine if there was some Mexican guy who had this big YouTube channel and Canelo Alvarez is pound for pound. Let's say Canelo, he beat Jamal Charlo, beat Demetrius Andrade, and now he's considered pound for pound #1. Nobody denies it, right? Meanwhile, you got a Mexican YouTuber who's telling the truth. He's not biased or anything. He's praising Canelo, giving him the credit he deserves. Can you imagine a group of Mexican YouTubers saying, "Yeah, man, yeah, F that damn dude, Julio's Boxing Nation." You know what I'm saying? Talking about Canelo, talking about Canelo is this and Canelo is that. Man, that punk mother, if I ever see his ass, I'm going to shoot his ass if I see him, man. I can't stand his ass.
Never going to happen.
It would never happen. Never happen. It would never, ever, ever happen. They would
see Dante. That's my thing with the situation with Mayweather, the hate, like you saying, he was getting from the black fans or whatever. And that's the thing with Earl. Like I heard a couple people this week saying he's starting to sound like a businessman. Like it is a business at the end of the day. And the thing is, if you were Earl Spence fan, he been saying this for the last 6. You ain't even got to be a fan. If you're a boxing fan and you've been around listening, he been saying the same thing for years. He wanted to get all the belts or whatever, be unified. He wanted to unify the division. He been saying this for years now. So it got to change because y'all want him to fight Crawford. They gonna fight.
They
gonna fight.
And shout out,
like, Ticket trying to get.
Yeah, I just see Ticket TV. Shout out to my man Ticket. Want to get on the horn? I'm gonna put Ticket on here in a minute. Hold on, I want to go back to something real quick. Some guy, one of my Mexican fans in the comment section. I was trying to go back to his comment, but he said a lot of Mexicans, they hate Canelo Alvarez. Let me tell you guys why that's not true. Because first of all, let me ask you a question. If Canelo were to ever fight against any black fighter, do you guys ever think that they would boo Canelo Alvarez and cheer for the black fighter because they hate Canelo? You know it would never happen. It would never happen.
No, it's not gonna happen.
But guess what though? When Gennady Golovkin, when Gennady Golovkin fought against Canelo Alvarez, then you did have Mexican fans that were some Mexican fans were booing Canelo because they were cheering Gennady Golovkin. So you guys see the difference? When Gennady Golovkin was fighting against Marco Antonio Rubio, you had Mexican fans that were booing the Mexican fighter to cheer for Gennady Golovkin. But they would never do something like that. They would never do something like that once again if it was a black fighter going up against Canelo Alvarez. Those same fans that booed Canelo Alvarez, they would be cheering for his ass then. They would be cheering for his ass then. Yep. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, that there's not some people that don't like Canelo Alvarez, but my point is you put him up against a black fighter, then they will change that narrative real fast. Just like they did with Oscar De La Hoya. When Oscar De La Hoya used to be Pretty Boy Oscar and all the girls loved him, a lot of Mexican fans, they didn't like him. And Bob Arum said this, and Bob Arum was dead on when he said it. Bob Arum said, it's okay, because soon as Oscar De La Hoya starts fighting the black fighters, all of those fans will start rooting. They'll start rooting for Oscar De La Hoya, and that's exactly what happened. So
that's exactly what happened.
So yeah, it's not the same thing. But anyway, let me see where's Ticket at on here. Let me see over here. Ticket, what is your number if you on the horn? I don't know if you called in. I don't see I know you usually call in anonymous, and I don't see no anonymous call over here. But anyway, with that being said, yeah, man, it's not the same thing. And something else, man, is if there were Mexicans that didn't like Canelo Alvarez, why don't I ever see one single Mexican fan say, man, Canelo Alvarez is the biggest fraud. Why is he ducking Charlo? Why is he ducking? When I do a video about Canelo versus Charlo, every comment in the comment section is F you, Dante. He don't have to fight Charlo. Charlo ain't nothing. This and that, this and that, this and that. You black bastard this and you blacks and that's all it is in the comment section. I don't get one single Mexican person post a comment and saying, man, this is some BS. If Canelo don't fight him, I ain't supporting him no more. And he's overrated. And why didn't he fight Andre? Why ain't nobody going after Canelo like some of these black fans go after Floyd Mayweather? Even when Floyd does what he's supposed to do, some of these black fans, they still discredit him. You know what I'm saying? Right. So once again, the good thing about coons, and I'm not saying all of these cats are coons, but once again, the good thing about coons, or even just black people who go against their own race, once again, man, it proves that black people are the least racist people in the world. And that's what it proves. That's what it proves. You know what I mean?
That's that Willie Lynch.
Yeah,
Willie
man.
Lynch syndrome.
Yeah. That's
not biased.
Yeah, that's what it is. So even when these coons are trying to hurt us, they still helping us, and they don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
They help improve that we the least racist people in the world. You know what I'm saying? That's all that mean. Okay, so Ticket said he gonna call in. Okay, while Ticket is calling in, let me go ahead and take another call, man. Let's take.
You keep doing your thing, but don't say.
Hey,
keep doing your thing, man. Love your channel, man.
Hey, good looking out, family, and thanks for opening up some great dialogue, man. All right, man. Take care, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, man.
All right, you too.
Okay, man. So yeah, we got it going on, man. My man Glass and Meadow 630. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from, man?
What's up, Dante? Can you hear me?
I hear you, man. I hear you. What's good? What's good?
Glass and Metal, that's where I work, man. That's the family business.
Yeah. It pops up. It pops up on the caller ID, man. I'm like, oh man, what you a rapper or something? I thought that was your rap name or something, man.
Nah. But anyway, man, I'm from Chicago, man. But right now I'm in Florida. About to go to the Bahamas, for Thanksgiving break. Anyway, I just had a couple things to talk about, man. Before that, I just want to say, I appreciate everything you do for boxing, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, let me get into it. The first thing I want to say is, currently right now and all through 2019, we got a lot of stacked fights going up. I really think boxing really is back. So with that being said, what's the most anticipated or excited fight you're looking forward to see?
Man, the most anticipated fight of 2019, you said, right? I mean, it
could be, late 2018.
I mean, it's still early right now. I mean, it's still early. I mean, because I think we're gonna end up getting some much bigger surprises announced, because PBC, they announced the first quarter of their lineup. But I would definitely say Errol Spence, Errol versus Terrence Crawford. Or Crawford, but once I can't even say that because it probably won't happen. But when it comes to what's already set in stone, I gotta say Garcia. I gotta say Errol Spence versus Mikey Garcia. I want to see that fight. I want to see that fight because it reminds me of the De La Hoya versus Corte, De La Hoya versus Pernell Whitaker, De La Hoya versus the other one, Mosley, De La Hoya versus Mosley. It reminded me of that era. Trinidad versus Fernando Vargas. That's the kind of fight that reminds me of, because the fans are going to be so driven, emotional, and passionate about this fight. You know what I mean? So right now, that's the fight that I'm looking forward to seeing the most, at least when it comes to fights that are already signed. You know what I mean? But like I said, I expect we're going to get some much bigger announcements later on in the year. So that's pretty much what it is, man. So.
Okay, yeah, like I said, man, I think I'm actually very excited to see that fight too. It just really reminds me of just, classic boxing. I hate to, not hate to, but, race is part of boxing. And we do know that Mexican fighters and black fighters, they seem to always bring out the best of each other. They seem to always bring out the best.
Absolutely.
Fights. I know the guys in the comment section go say, "Oh man, this dude Al, he race dating," but nah, man, that's the truth. I'm just very excited. So,
no. Like I said. Go ahead.
Oh no, go on.
Well, I mean, but it's funny. But think about what you just said. Like, that's always great. When the blacks and Mexicans are fighting, they bring out the best of each other. It's funny because if someone were to say, "Oh man, Mexico versus Puerto Rico, that's a great rivalry," no one would ever say you're race baiting or baiting at all. You know what I mean? So just keep that in mind.
Right.
But yeah.
And they be going at it with each other worse than sometimes,
Yeah.
Any other race would be going at African American fighters. You call a Puerto Rican person a Mexican, they ready to take your head off.
Oh yeah, all day. But it's far more personal. But I still would say it's far more personal when it's black versus Mexican, because all the fights that I done went to growing up in Long Beach, California, every time I went to live fights, man, you see, especially at the StubHub Center. At the StubHub Center, that used to be called the Home Depot Center, man, and the Staples Center. Every fight I went to, if it was black versus Mexican, and this is really unfortunate, you turn this way, you turn that way, big old little crowd, little riot over here, little brawl over here, So and I'm gonna tell you the truth, and I'm gonna tell you a lot of it starts by someone saying "F that N-word," F that N-word, or because I done heard when I went to the Chavez De La Hoya fight. We were the only. It was like 5 black people in the whole arena. You know what I mean? And I was betting with a whole bunch of them because they were picking Chavez. So I was picking up money easy. And, you know, all the way and once we were leaving, you hear some cats all the way down on the other side of the arena. You hear somebody say, F those N-words, you know, like that, you know. So like I said, you don't get that kind of stuff when it comes to the Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's never been a fight in the arena when maybe Trinidad fought Oscar De La Hoya, but it's not as personal. But it doesn't need to be that way, and it's really unfortunate. It's really and speaking of this, and I hope there's no brawls and none of that kind of stuff out there in Texas, man. You know, once again, man, you know, fans, don't get to the point to where you take this so personal if your guy loses or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So that is what it is, man.
Yeah. And with that, Dante, I think Mexicans, it's only really Southern California Mexicans that kind of take on that tone.
You're right,
You know,
because northern Mexicans,
Texas,
yeah. Well, yeah, and I'm glad you did say that, because you're right. Up north, Mexicans and blacks are like blacks and Puerto Ricans. They're really close. Up north, like Oakland, the Bay Area, they have a complete different mindset. It's only it's only Southern California, you know, where you have these type of extreme, you know, racist, you know, Mexicans that really don't like blacks. It's not all of them, but there is a difference from, you know, Southern California and up north. Up north, you know, right, they ride with blacks, and blacks and Mexicans are cool. Mm-hmm. And hopefully it will be that way someday in Southern California. You know what I mean? Hopefully one day it'll be like that.
And the crazy thing with the way that works is, you know, the influence of that, it channels out of the prison system. So you have there was the alliance with Mexicans when their population wasn't large. They formed an alliance with the, you know, the white Aryan type groups that played out on the streets because of, you know, back in the, you know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, blacks used to do Mexicans bad. So they picked the alliance with white prison gangs, and it kind of, that indoctrination and conditioning has just, you know, stood the test of times, and it hits the streets. And I think that's the black and Mexican thing. Not all Mexicans in Southern California, but the ones who do prior to that, it funnels out of that prison system. But Texas Mexicans are real cool.
And that's and speaking of the prison system, and this is something else that doesn't make sense to me. Speaking of the prison, I never understood, how is it a lot of the Mexicans that are in prison, or all of them, they align with the neo-Nazis. They align with the neo-Nazis, but then they don't associate with blacks at all. And then they tell their people, do not associate with blacks. You can't. That's against the rules to associate with black people. But then they align with white Nazis. That you know, their whole talking point, everything about a neo-Nazi is telling you we're superior to your race. And of course they're hypocrites, but they're preaching, you know, not about mixed races, not about you know, mixing races and all that kind of stuff. But yet these are who the Mexicans in prison, they align themselves with. Once again, it doesn't make sense. You would think, if anything, you would think they would be aligning with black people, minorities, you know, especially when it comes to neo-Nazis are the ones that are trying to deport Mexicans out of the country. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. Get in where you fit in is what I say. You know what I mean? And if somebody if we already know that if black people will welcome you, because that's how it's always been in all my neighborhoods. All my neighborhoods, when I lived in Long Beach, California, if it was predominantly black, we had a small percentage of Mexicans, and they were cool. Everybody was cool with them. You know, they hung out with nothing but black guys. Their sisters had black boyfriends, you know what I'm saying? And they were cool. Nobody messed with them. Nobody tried to jump them. Nobody said, you can't live here, Holmes. You got to get out the neighborhood. Nobody did that to them. You know what I mean? So once again, man, this is the reason why, you know, things need to be, it would make more sense that Mexicans would be aligned with black people, you know, before they would be aligned with neo-Nazis that don't care anything about them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about white people in particular, in general. Okay.
he got a better chance